Imagine a lone hunter standing over a fresh kill, a heavy stone blade in his hand. This iconic, rugged scene is often our only perception of the prehistoric past. Popular culture and modern marketing have framed the ancient diet as an endless, masculine series of mammoth steaks and organ meats. However, recent archaeological evidence is revealing that this caricature of early man is a major simplification. Before the very first grain was ever intentionally sown in a field, the human menu was surprisingly diverse, sophisticated, and remarkably green. Our survival as a species was built not on massive muscles or brute force alone, but on a biological mastery of everything our environments could provide across millions of years. We were opportunistic geniuses of a global buffet. Let's peel back the Hollywood image and discover what exactly our ancestors put on their plates before farming changed the course of human destiny forever. If we look for the true foundation of the ancient calorie chart, it would look much more like a diverse salad bar than a butcher shop. Scholars now believe that plant material foraged daily by women, elders, and children actually provided between 60 to 80% of the total calories for most groups. These humans were remarkable masters of their local botany. They scavenged for dense, energy-packed walnuts, hazelnuts, and pine seeds which could be stored for months. They knew how to dig for massive starchy tubers, the wild ancestors of our modern carrots and potatoes, which provided the steady stream of glucose that the human brain demands. This foraging was a high-tech endeavor for the time, involving specialized digging sticks and woven baskets. Additionally, protein often came from tiny, reliable sources we often ignore today, like fat-rich snails, caterpillars, or crickets found under logs. While big game hunts were flashy and prestigious, they were also extremely unpredictable. It was the high stability of this invisible gathered diet that pulled humanity through the harsh winters and unpredictable droughts of the Pleistocene. While plants provided the base, our shift into active hunting launched us into a new stage of brain growth and social complexity. To take down megafauna like ancient horse herds or massive mammoths required a level of cooperation and communication that defined our species. We did not rely on claws or fangs. Instead, we used our unique ability to sweat. This allowed for persistence hunting, where humans tracked an animal for hours in the midday heat until the prey literally collapsed from heat exhaustion. This high-risk, high-reward strategy provided the concentrated fats and proteins necessary for fueling an increasingly expensive metabolic organ, the human brain. Every part of the animal was utilized, from the marrow inside the bones to the hides for clothing. This wasn't just about food, it was about the logistics of survival. The hunt forced us to develop language, strategy, and a deep understanding of animal behavior, turning us into the planet's most versatile apex predators through intellect rather than just physical power. Water has always been a magnet for ancient human bands, acting as a reliable highway for migration and a consistent source of nutrition. Along the ancient coastlines of Africa and Eurasia, our ancestors discovered a gold mine of brain food. High tides operated as a natural, predictable clock, yielding an abundance of clams, mussels, and crabs that required very little energy to harvest compared to chasing a deer. Archaeologists find massive middens, ancient trash heaps of shells, that prove how central seafood was to the prehistoric diet. Scientists suspect this consistent intake of marine life provided the critical long-chain fatty acids like DHA and EPA that fueled the rapid expansion of the hominid cerebral cortex. This coastal lifestyle allowed for larger group sizes and more sedentary periods, as the ocean provided a buffer against the failures of land-based hunting. From the Mediterranean to the Pacific, the shore provided the nutrients that made us the thinkers we are today. No prehistoric human ever had the luxury of a stable, year-round food source like the cereal grains we rely on today. Survival was a constant game of seasonal adaptation. Our ancestors were the ultimate generalists, moving between different biomes as the earth tilted and the weather shifted. In the spring, they might feast on tender young shoots and bird eggs. In the summer, a bounty of wild berries and fruits. And in the autumn, a heavy harvest of nuts and seeds. They tracked the migrations of herds and the blooming cycles of flowers with astronomical precision. This variety wasn't just a choice, it was a biological necessity. By eating hundreds of different species throughout the year, they ensured a full spectrum of vitamins and minerals that modern diets often lack. This rotating buffet made them incredibly resilient to local environmental collapses. If one food source failed, they simply pivoted to another, a flexibility that allowed humans to colonize every environment from the scorching savanna to the edge of the Arctic ice. Perhaps the greatest leap in human nutritional history was the taming of fire. Fire acted as an external stomach, beginning the process of digestion before the food even touched our lips. By applying heat to raw meat and tough tubers, our ancestors broke down complex proteins and fibers that were previously indigestible or even toxic. This fire revolution meant we could extract significantly more calories from the same amount of food with much less physical effort. Biologically, the impact was profound. As our guts shrank because they no longer had to process massive amounts of raw, fibrous vegetation, the energy saved was redirected to our growing brains. Cooking also killed parasites and bacteria, making the diet safer and allowing food to be preserved longer. Beyond the biology, the hearth became the social center of the tribe. It was around the fire that stories were told, strategies were formed, and the first elements of human culture were baked into our collective identity. We are, quite literally, the species that cooked itself into existence. The story of what we ate before farming is the story of how we became human. For millions of years, our bodies were sculpted by a diet defined by extreme variety, seasonal movement, and the clever use of technology. We weren't just meat eaters or vegetarians, we were the ultimate opportunists, thriving on everything from tiny seeds to massive whales. This ancestral blueprint is still written in our DNA today. Our modern struggles with nutrition often stem from the fact that we have traded this diverse, nutrient-dense heritage for a narrow range of processed crops. By looking back at the prehistoric plate, we see a reflection of our own resilience and creativity. We didn't just survive the wild, we were nourished by it, developing the complex minds and bodies that would eventually go on to build the modern world. Understanding our ancient diet isn't just about history, it is about recognizing the incredible biological journey that brought us here.